Hi, kids. Hi. Good morning. Oh, my God. Everybody awake? Ready for some math? Okay. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. No, wait. It's 5:30. I looked at the date. It's 3:15. Yesterday was Pi Day. Hope you all had enjoyed your pie. Today is the day after Pi Day. As a matter of fact, yesterday was 3/14/15, which is really kind of cool. You don't think so? So anyway, I went to make your notes this morning for the day I was going to be out, which was supposed to be on Wednesday, in my mind. And then I realized, oh, wait a second. I'm going to be out on Tuesday. So, actually, it wasn't me that realized it. It's that guy over there, probably sitting over there, falling asleep. If he falls asleep, wake him up. He's old. You know how old people are. They kind of like, oh, is everybody going on? What's going on here? You know. So, if he falls asleep, you know, just kind of give him a heads up, wake him up. But he's the one who told me, hey, really, aren't you out on the 17th, not the 18th? And I go, oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense. So now I had to do other notes for you. So here you go. I had some good jokes in my other one. I was ripping on a couple of people. So now I'm going to have to try to recreate some of those fun jokes just for you guys. So today what we're going to talk about is the cosine curve. Day 2. We're going to, day 2. This is for my 4th period class. So I get to make fun of my 4th period class and have a really good time with you guys. Yeah, it's 4th period. I'm not going to have that great of a time. Because you guys are sort of annoying. Because you guys, I can't stand your class. It's so annoying. It's like, what time do you guys... Hey, by the way, Letta, what time does class end? Can you tell my dad? Because he's probably going to ask. Something with a 32. Maybe it's 32. Maybe I'm not right. Maybe I'm right. Let me guess, Bailey. Got to go to the bathroom? Oh, that's a surprise. Whatever. All right, Miss Utter. I apologize for having stuck you next to him. You're going to get like my championship award. Just kidding, Bailey. We all love you. Okay, let's go. I got to get to my drawing tool. I don't know where it is. There's my drawing tool. Draw. All right. So, simple. Let's go through it. Let's rock and roll. A is 3. Nothing new there. B is sitting right there. It's a 1. Period, which is 2 pi over B. 2 pi over B. So that's 2 pi because it's 2 pi over 1. My x scale, going to do the same thing. It's 2 pi over 4, which you guys should know is just pi over 2. My C, that's the thing we're going to talk about today. Remember that's in here backwards. So my C is positive pi over 2. My D is sitting right here. It's 0. If you remember correctly, the minimum is the D of the midline minus A. So in this case, it's negative 3. And then D plus A, which is positive 3. Now this is kind of a new one right here. This is going to be your starting point is going to be your C, comma, max. Now sometimes this is a min or min. It'll be a min if we're going to start with a negative. It'll be a max if we don't. So you know we've talked about the fact that the sine curve starts up at 1. So let's get our scale on there. If I can find my little thing. There it is. That didn't sound right. Pi over 2. Oh, God. 3 pi over 2. And 2 pi. Hey, there's no pause in this video. It will be posted online. If you don't get this because I'm going way too fast, you might want to rewatch it online. It'll be fun. It's like reliving the same boring stuff over and over again. Amazing. Now we might have to go, we might have to go past over here, and you'll see why we're going to go past this in a second. It's kind of cool how this works. So let me change colors. We don't have a midline, so we don't have to really draw that in. Go to green. We'll make it red and green. Kind of Christmassy. But we do have, normally I would start here. Oh, I didn't put a scale here, so let's put a 1. Maybe a negative 1 here. Normally I would start here. And normally it would end here. Do you agree? Normally it would start and end at those 2 points. Normally it would be down here in the middle. That would be the normal case. But that's not what we have here. Let me go to blue. I'll go big blue. We have a shift to the right, pi over 2. So this is going to go here. And since the phase, or since, excuse me, the period is 2 pi, the ending will be all the way over here, right? Moving to the right. And then this will move to the right. So everything moves to the right, pi over 2. Now let me get rid of the things I don't need. That's the beauty of erasers. For those using erasers, just erase. For those of you not. Right. So let me go back to blue. So we got the max. We got the max. Starts at its max, ends at its max. In between is the middle, is the minimum, and these are the zeros. Nothing new here. We did it the other day. The only difference is we are shifting to the right. Oh my gosh. I am like, oh, okay. I was about to say I was about to Picasso, but I just messed it up. All right. So in order to continue this curve, though, we should go pi over 2. We should go 2 pi to the left. Let's see. That's 1 pi. That's 2 pi. That would be here. In between these two, it would be at its minimum, which I went down 4, not 3. So let me fix this. I'm up 3, but down 4. I knew something was a little off, so let me erase. I want to fix it, make it look nice and pretty. This point's off. So let me just get that point back. Sorry about that, kiddies. It should be down 3. I know. I sure got my brainiacs going, what's Mr. Krause doing? Oh my gosh. And then you're looking over at my dad going, what is wrong with your son? He is completely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I am. I've been teaching a long time. All right, in between these two, we'll go, and in between those, we go to zeros. 0 and 0. So, some really amazing, it is really hard to draw curves on this, and then we'll just come back to the 0. That'll be done. So, there it is. Done. Oh, yeah, finished, gone. So, let's go through this. 2, 1. Period is 2 pi. 2 pi over 1. X scale, we just did it. It's pi over 2. The C value is negative pi. So this time we're going to go to the left because remember, it's backwards. The D value is still again 0. And we're going to go down 2 and up 2. Now we can put in our starting point. Remember, this is C and this is either max or min, because the sine curve or the cosine curve starts up, not down, or down all the way down the bottom, or all the way on the top, but not in the middle. So our C value is negative pi. This is going to be our starting point, and our max will be 2. Let's get our scale on there. That's pi over 2. That's pi. That's 3 pi over 2, and that's 2 pi. Yep, yesterday was pi day. Negative pi over 2. For the staff, we're all bringing in, all the math department's bringing in pies for our staff meeting on Tuesday, which means I get to eat pie on Tuesday. But I don't eat snacks during the day, so that's going to be, well, I don't like to eat too many snacky stuff during the day, so I probably won't eat my pie. So maybe, just maybe there'll be some lucky student hanging around going, Mr. Krause, didn't you say you were going to give the pie away? And I will. And there you go. And you can have it. But I'm not supposed to do that. We'll see. As long as I don't get fired, we'll be good. Okay. Y'all got your scale on there? All right. Shouldn't take you that long. It's taking me probably a little bit longer. So we don't have a midline, so we don't have to draw that in. So all we have to do is find our starting point. Let me switch colors here. Let me get back to red. Our starting point is negative pi up 2. There's our starting point. Now, it's a max. We're going to start at a max. And our period is 2 pi. So I have to go 2 pi to the right. That's 1 pi, and that's 2 pi to the right. Max and max. In between, it will be a minimum. In between those are zeros. And then I just attempt. So to continue this, if this is a 0 here, then this will be a 0 here, so I'll just keep going, which means this would be a minimum. Do your best to make curves. And then this would be a 0, and this would be a minimum. So, here we go. Ha! Flying! I'm flying! Now you know why I teach math. Is my dad over there? Look over him. Everybody look at him. Hi, Dad. Hi. Are you embarrassed to be my father at this time? And this is, in fact, Fresca. I love Fresca in the afternoon. Lots of coffee in the morning. Fresca in the afternoon. Sorry, Dad. I don't mean to embarrass you. Go back to sleep. Just go back to sleep. I'm not mean to my dad. He knows I'm having fun with him. Okay, let's get started. Here we go. Amplitude 3. Dad, if you see anybody falling asleep, if you want, to stay awake to help you, because I know it's kind of boring sitting there watching me, but if you want to stay awake, just walk around and smack kids. No, you won't get in trouble. No, I swear, you won't get in trouble. Especially if you like the guy all the way near the door. He might be falling asleep. So if you just, Nah, Dad, I'm just kidding. You can't do that. That's against the rules. All right. B in this case is 2. Let's get back to work. Amplitude is 3. My B value is 2. Therefore, my period is just going to be 2 pi over 2, which is just pi. This should not be anything mind-bogglingly new for you. My scale is going to be easy. It's just pi over 4. My C value is sitting right there. Remember, it has an opposite sign, so my C value is positive pi. My D value, we have a D value, is -1, which makes my midline y equals -1. Maybe I'll write that in right now. Bink, 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 bink. I hope you're all saying bink, bink when you put that line up there, because you're really not doing it right if you don't say bink, bink, bink. All right. My minimum's going to change then. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take -1 and subtract 3, which is -4. And then -1 plus 3, which is +2. Now, you got to be really careful with this. Really careful with the phase shifts and the min and max and the midline. That's what I'm thinking of. Woo, man, couldn't get that out. And that midline, it makes it kind of tricky to graph. So you got to be really, really careful about this. So I'm going to stop making jokes and we're going to think about this. Our starting point is going to be pi, and our maximum is 2. Now I'm looking up here. I'm thinking, it's a 3. So I'm going up to my maximum. So it's pi 3. Well, I haven't put my scale on there, so let me change my color. Well, let me get the smaller ones. And I'm going to change my scale. Now be careful. I don't want to get ahead of me on this one. I'm going to watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to make every 1 pi over 4. And you'll see why in just a second. So I'm going to make this pi over 4. And then I'm going to make this pi over 2. And 3 pi over 4. And pi. I'm not really sure why I did that. It doesn't matter. I just did it. I did it on my sheet. So every 4 of these is pi. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be 2 pi over there. That would make this 3 pi over 2. And then let's go this way. Negative pi over 2. Negative pi. Negative 3 pi over 2. And negative 2 pi. That is awful looking. I'm embarrassed to do that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to graph this baby. Now, again, it really doesn't matter. I know why I did it this way. I wanted to show you what a graph would look like if the directions were graphed from negative 2 pi to 2 pi. And I was actually going to, if I was in class, I know what I wanted to do with this one. If I was in class, I would have walked through, we don't have a big enough scale to do every other one, so we have to do every one as pi over 4. So our starting point is pi 3. The other reason why I wanted to do this, and you'll see why in a second, we're moving over pi 3. 1, 2, 3, and there's our starting point right there. Had I not done this, so this is a perfect example, why not? I would be all the way at the end over here. My point would have been over here. And I would have not been able to go to the right. Not a big deal, but a little bit big deal. So now I can go to the right. So here's my starting point. So let me get rid of that one. That's not my starting point. Here's my starting point over here. And I'll go to black. Here's my starting point right there. All right, now my period is pi. That means in pi, on the scale, pi, I should finish one complete curve. So if my starting point is right here, I'm going to go over to the right pi, and that's where it should end. In between those two, it should be at a minimum. Down 3. 1, 2, 3. Down 3. And in between those, we'll put in our zeros. So this is going to be a very steep graph. It's going to look like that. Now, I'm going to continue this. Here's pi. So if I go here, that's pi units away. So in between these two, or at pi over 2, I should have my next one, or my next full, man, goodness, this is hard to do. This is very I don't know why this is so difficult to do on this tablet I'm using. All right, there we go. And then every pi, I should have another full cosine curve. So, bam, and see, this is where you catch up to me, because I just can't draw with this thing. And then another full cosine curve. And then I want to talk about it real quick, and then we'll move on to the next one. Here's what I want to talk about for those of you that are caught up. Okay, there we go. Whew, that was rough. All right. This thing here says my frequency is 2. What that means is I will finish 2 full cosine curves in 2 pi. So there's 0. And there's 2 pi. And you'll notice we've completed 2 full cosine curves. The first one ends here. There's the first one. There's the second one. So my frequency is 2. 2 full cosine curves in 2 pi. Should be catching on soon. All right, there we go. All right, here we go. Rock on. Flip the page. Turn the page. Got the page turned? Everybody awake? A little fresca. When I do math in the afternoon, and I need something to to quench my parched thirst, I choose Fresca. 0 calories and such a tart little taste. At least that's what people tell me. But I have I can't taste anything, so I just drink it. Actually, I can taste Fresca for some reason. There's a tartness in there that I really enjoy. I really enjoy that tartness. Okay, let's get started. Got a lot going on this problem. This one's going to get complicated. 2. Frequency. 2. Period. Pi. Nothing new. Scale. Pi over 4. Nothing new. C value. Negative pi over 2. Be careful. It's opposite of that sign. D value. 1. All right, so we're going to do 1 minus 2. That's our minimum of negative 1. And 1 plus 2. That's 3. That's our maximum. Down here, you remember, it's going to be C and max or min. And because this is a normal cosine curve, no reflection, because that's positive, we'll put our max in. So it's going to be negative pi over 2, and the max is 3. So again, you have to be very careful of where you put your points. All right. So I'm just going to go back to normal. Let's go back to normal. This is pi over 4. This is pi over 2. This is 3 pi over 2. No. 3 pi over 4. And this is pi. Thank you very much for correcting me back there, for all of you yelling out, no, it's over 4. I almost put over 2 and really embarrassed myself. It would have been shameful. Very shameful. Okay, can everybody hear me in the back of the room? Saluza, how you doing back there, kid? You all right? You okay back there, Saluza? All right, rock on. Rock on. All right. Letta, you awake? Hey, Dad, if Torres asks any questions, because she does every once in a while, just say, ask Mr. Krause when he gets back. Or not, because maybe you'll figure it out. Or, yeah, maybe it is. You know there's no such thing as a stupid question? Yes, there is. But if you don't know what's going on and you don't ask questions, not very smart. Come see me for help if you don't know what's going on. Gosh, please. All right. We gotta get some. We gotta get our midline in. Ka-ching, ka-chang, ka-ching, ka-chang, ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. It is not good enough in this day and age with this many jobs being taken away by everybody else, and your job prospects are very difficult in the future. It's not okay to be mediocre. It is not okay to be mediocre. Get your life squared up, guys. Those of you not working hard, people are gonna pass you by. You're gonna be shining my shoes, hoping for looking for a little handout from me. I might be nice. Depends. All right, kids. I want you to pass that readings exam. We got a tough one coming. Let me go put my starting point on there. It said negative pi over 2, 3. There it is right there. Notice it's an amplitude of 2. It's still an amplitude of 2 here. Let me get rid of that because it's kind of ugly. So my amplitude is 2. Even though I've gone up and put my starting point at 3, my amplitude is still 2. Now, my period is a full pi, so I've got to be careful. This is pi over 2 to here, and this is pi over 2 to here. So there's my full pi. Is that different than what we did up here? Sure. But notice from here over to here was pi. Now, I've just changed my scale. I've spread it out a little bit, all right? In between those two, we're going to go to our minimum. Well, our minimum is negative 1. Notice also, see, this is where you got to be really careful. Notice I'm down 2 from my midline again. Just be very careful, okay? You still want to make sure you have an amplitude of 2 in this particular case. All right. In between these, on the midline, make sure you're drawing these things on the midline here. You're going to have your zeros. Now, I know that looks like a V. Don't make it look like a V. Curve it. Round it. Curve it. Got to have the curves. All right. Now, let's see if I can continue this. The next one would be a 0, so that's not bad. And the last one would be a negative. Boom. Make sure it looks smooth. The next one would be a 0. You know, if you find yourself doing this, something happened there in the crowds. I'm not really sure. You know you did something wrong. It doesn't look right. Make sure it looks right. You know when this doesn't work. It's got to be down here at a minimum. Bam, bam, bam. All right, rock on. All right. So we got a little bit different something here. Now I still had people on the last quiz tell me that the amplitude was negative 2. Kind of embarrassing. I'm going to pretend you're not my student. I'm going to pretend you went to some other teacher and they told you something weird. 2 is the amplitude. In this case, the frequency is 1. The period is 2 pi. The scale is pi over 2. Nothing new here. My C value is positive pi over 2. My D value is 2. So my minimum is going to be 2 minus my amplitude or 2 or 0. And my maximum will be 2 plus 2 or 4. Now, we got a little bit different starting point. Remember when I said it's going to be C and your max or min? It will be C. It will always be C. That gives you your X value. But in this case, because I have a negative leading, I have a negative out front, we know that this is going to be the cosine curve upside down, which means that we're going to start at the minimum, which is 0. All right, so let's get that. I got the wrong. Let's get that midline in. The midline is 2. There's my midline. All right, let me get the scale in there. We're going up by pi over 2, right? Pi over 2. Pi. 3. You know, when I look down here, I feel like I'm not providing you guys with good eye contact, but I can't do both at the same time. I'm having a hard enough time just doing this. Get that scale in there. Negative pi over 2 over this way. Negative pi. Negative 3 pi over 2. Negative 2 pi. All right. Ow! Ow! I was sitting on my leg. Let me grab some different color. God, these colors are boring. Well, this one's purple, I think. Let's try purple. Okay, so I have to start at pi over 2 0. That's my starting point. Wait a second, that doesn't make any sense. Oh yeah, it is. It's right here. Pi over 2 is my starting point. Now, because this is a reflection, I'm not going to have start with a max and end with a max. I'm going to start with a min and end with a min. Now, let's think about this for a second. Normally, I would start here with my min and finish 2 pi later. But here's where I'm starting, and I'm going to end 2 pi later. Now, 2 pi later would be right there. So that's my starting point. This is my ending point over here. In between these will be a maximum. And in between those are zeros. So now it looks kind of like the last one, but upside down, right? And I should be drawing a nice rounded curve. And you should see the cosine curve upside down. Now I'm going to go another 2 pi. Let's see. 1 pi, 2 pi. Back off into this direction. In between those, I will have a maximum. Shabang. In between those, I'll have a 0. Now a 0, I mean, in this case, are these points right here. It's on the midline. It will be on that midline. And then back to the midline. All right, kids, there we go. Now, if they asked us to graph this from negative 2 pi to 2 pi, and you graph this over here, it's at that point you got to grab your eraser and erase, because you can't have this part right here. Now, if I try to hit the eraser, it'll erase the whole thing, so I'm just not going to get rid of it. So just be careful with that. All right, we got one left. If you want to, you can have my dad pause it. You can tell him if you wanted to pause it, or we can just keep going, and then when I finish, you can start your homework. So, you guys decide. I'm giving you an opportunity. You can pause it right now. If you pause it on my face, that would be kind of weird looking at that the whole time. All right, let's do it. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to assume you're doing it with me. Let's do this. Amplitude is 1/2. Because if I didn't think you were doing it with me, I'd go really, really fast. I'd go really fast and you couldn't understand what I'm saying. But I'll assume you're doing it with me, so I'll go kind of slow. My frequency is 2. Therefore, my period is 2 pi over 2, which is pi. And my scale will be pi over 4. Now, in this one, I'm telling you, I want you to graph it from negative 2 pi is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 2 pi. I want to see from negative 2 pi to 2 pi. So we're going to have to see how that's going to play out. My phase shift is to the right pi over 2, positive. My d is negative 1. And then we're going to do negative 1 minus 1/2. Well, that's really just negative 1.5. You know what I haven't been doing? I haven't been putting scales on my vertical scales. This should be 1. This should be negative 1. That is awful. That is like worse than, I don't even know. I think I did it. Oh my gosh, this is awful. Negative 2, 2. I think I only did it on the first. Oh, I did on the first 2. Wow, that's terrible. I'll tell you why. I'll show you why in a second, why I thought about it just now. We're going to have to do, some of you are like figuring that out. Negative 1 plus 1/2, and that's at negative 0.5. Now, it's a normal one, so it's going to start at a max and end at a max. So my starting point is my C value, which is the phase shift left or right, pi over 2, and my maximum. My maximum is negative 1/2 or negative 0.5. So let me get my, can't use this color. Let me get my midline in, which is negative 1. Now I'm going to be, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make every 2 1. Because, and I want to put my scale up here so that stuff stays out of my way. Because I have to get to 1/2 and negative 1.5. That's what made me think that about the fact that I hadn't had to put a scale earlier. So I'm going to make every 2 1. Every 2 1. That doesn't make sense. Every 2 boxes equal to 1 unit. Or, yeah, whatever. I'll stop there. I think you guys know what I mean. Okay. Now, watch this. If you're watching, pay attention. If I put pi over 4 here, and then pi over 2, and then this would be 3 pi over 4, and this would be pi, I would never, ever get to 2 pi. So every time I say 2 pi, I feel like I'm saying Tupac. I don't know. So what we're going to do then is just like we did before. We're going to make every 1, every box, a tick mark or a scale marker. Pi over 4, this is pi over 2. This will be 3 pi over 4. And this will be pi. And then this is 5 pi over 4, 6 pi over 4, which is 3 pi over 2, 7 pi over 4, and 2 pi. Now 2 pi. Now this way I'll just go opposite. I'll just go every other one. Negative pi over 2, negative pi, negative 3 pi over 2, and negative 2 pi. But you have to remember that, we'll work on it. We'll work on it. Okay, so, oh man, I put those markers below, and now let me bust out the big fat dark point. Okay, so my starting point is pi over 2, negative a half. That's why, you know what, this is my starting point right here. So I'll put that nice black. Now, be careful. My period is pi. That means in pi, I should be finishing one complete cosine curve. So this is pi over 2, and this is 3 pi over 2. That's pi right there. From pi over 2, or 90 degrees, to 270 degrees. That's a full pi. That's full pi. And in between there, I should be going down a half. And in between those, I should have some zeros on the midline. So notice I finish one full curve in pi. Now if I keep going with this pattern, that'll go down and that'll go down. So that would go down and down. Let's think about it going to the left. Here's pi over 2, and here's negative pi over 2. That's a full pi. Full pi. In between those, we're going to go down to the minimum. In between those, now it's on the midline, you'll have those zeros. Now we'll go another pi, from negative pi over 2 to negative 3 pi over 2. In between is a minimum. And in between those are the zeros. And then finally, actually I think I'm getting the hang of this. There it is. Now again, our frequency was 2, and what that means, this frequency is 2, and what that means is I'll finish 2 full cosine curves, 2 full cosine curves in 2 pi. Now, if I think about it starting here, that's 1 full cosine curve, and that's 2 full cosine curves. And we did it. We got it. Yay! It's over! Wake up, CS. We're done. Yay, we get to do our homework. Dad, pass out the homework. Kids, have fun. See y'all tomorrow. Rock on. Sorry I wasn't there today. I know you guys are crying and upset with me, but I apologize. Have fun. I'm after school whenever it says on that board. Right there. Right over there. That's what I'm after school. Peace out.